Hi guys, welcome to the session. I hope all of you doing good, and I really welcome you out here. That how to score 90 plus in maths. This is something which, just a moment. Okay, I hope things are going good. Yeah, hopefully. Fantastic. So I hope all of you doing good. So let's quickly go through how to score 90 plus in maths. Obviously, I will presume one bit that all of you have studied to the best level possible, and then you are attending this session to just get to know that what all extra things do you need to cover, or what all things you need to focus on to score something that is 90 plus in maths exam, right? So first of all, brief you through or take you through, just a moment, expand it. So So I'll take you through, first of all, the distribution of marks. Yeah, distribution of marks. Let's have a look on that. So as you can see, you all might be knowing this. I'll just rush through it, go through it fast. So real numbers. Okay. Or let me choose a different color. Yeah. Real numbers is of 6 marks, algebra 20 marks, and so forth, so on. Everything is written on board. So these are few things which all of us already know. So over here, we all can check one very important thing, and that is algebra is an important topic. It consists of 20 marks. Thereafter, geometry is also an important topic, which consists of 15 marks, right? So 20 marks, 15 marks altogether makes it 35 marks. Other topics are again important. But now what I'll discuss is something which will help you in your exams. Yes, the exam is on 7th March, and I hope your preparation is going fine, guys. Just a quick question from all of you, and thereafter we're gonna get started. So how's your preparation so far? How's the preparation so far? If at all, you can just give me a little bit idea about it. Going great. Solving sample papers, excellent, bad, must, good, enjoying, nice, very good, good too. Okay, not good for few of us, average stuff. Okay, guys, let me be very, very fair on this. What I'll do, I'll tell you important points as well as I'll give you the strategy which you can follow for the next 10 days. You have your paper on 7th, primarily you're left with around 10 days. So I'll give you the strategy on what to do in these 10 days. Before that, let's understand what type of questions you get. I'll give those strategies, and then we'll discuss about questions which are important in the specific topics. So the types of questions you get are basically of 4 types: a 1-mark question, a 2-mark question, a 3-mark, and a 4-mark question. In total, you get 30 questions. A 1-mark question will be there will be 6 questions on 1 mark, 6 questions on 2 marks, 10 questions on 3 marks, and 8 questions on 4 marks. You also have internal choices, right? So if I talk about internal choices, overall, there will be no choice. Internal choice, you're going to have in 1-mark question, you will have a choice in 2 questions. Choice implies you will have an extra question given to you. So there will be an either or type scenario in 2 questions. Similarly, in 2 questions of 2 marks, you're going to have choices. 4 questions of 3 marks, you're going to have choices. And 3 questions of 4 marks, you're going to have choices, right? So these are a few internal choices which you will get. Krishna, I've already told how many internal choices do you have. I'll talk about the time management which you can draw, and I'll also talk about few very, very important things towards the end of the session. Let's get started with the primary focus of the lecture. Revision plan, the stuff which I was discussing in the beginning. Everyone, just to stay focused, try to understand whatever I'm trying to tell you. This is the plan which you can follow for the next 10 days. What you need to do is you just need to go through the class notes or theory. Right, go through the class notes or theory. Class notes implies the notes which you have prepared on your own, maybe with the help of Merit Nation teachers or from any of your coaching institutes, or maybe from book and stuff. If you don't have your class notes, in that case, you can go through the theory from NCERT once quickly. Right, don't indulge too much into the theory bit. Do NCERT question. I'll provide the list of questions which you should be doing. So Let's have a look. So revise the class notes theory to NCERT questions. I'll provide you the list. Analyze your weak areas, very important. You must analyze what are your weak areas. You don't have enough time, but still you can analyze your weak areas and work upon them. Make a note of your weak area to revise them before the exam, right? So as soon as you figure out that this is one of my weak areas, just make a note of it so that you can revise it just before the exam, right? Solve a few more questions to strengthen your weak area. I understand, guys, apart from NCERT, there are other books as well, but anybody who has not done NCERT yet, or anybody who has not covered any other reference book, at least for those people, revise NCERT once or do important questions, which I'll tell you. However, using R.D. Sharma, R.S. Agrawal, or NCERT Exemplar is, again, important. If anybody has done it, fantastic. If not, it's okay. You don't have enough time to get started with any of those areas as of now. So I was talking about the list of questions which you must try. Yes, Exemplar and NCERT, the best books. So guys, what I've done, I've made a chart for you for all the chapters, right? For all the chapters. Everyone just stay focused. Let me cover. I'll take up your queries afterwards. So I've written the theorem part over here, the examples. So this is everything about NCERT, must do questions from NCERT. Theorems, examples, and the questions from the exercises, right? So I have presented the list: real numbers, polynomials, linear equation, quadratic equation, arithmetic progressions. There are hardly 10 to 15 questions which I've suggested you to practice. So most likely you will probably be investing one day to cover up one topic, or maybe one day to cover up two or more than two topics as well, right? Because over here I've concised the number of questions. So you can precisely go ahead and follow this. Apart from those chapters, you also have circles, triangles, construction, geometry, coordinate geometry, area related, and surface area and volumes. So please try and do these questions. I'll just show you the entire list so that you can, you can't note it directly, but you can always come back to the video and take a screenshot of it whenever necessary, right? So these are the important questions, the must-do questions from NCERT. Over here, the list is also favorably given. Lastly, the top topics which you're left with is coordinate, heights and distances, statistics, and probability. So do these questions, the examples, and the theorems from here. Okay, so these are few important questions which you must focus on, guys. Now, the important part of the session. What I'll do, I'll tell you a few important concepts in these topics. So let's get started with, if I would love to start. Real number is an easy topic. People struggle usually in HCF, LCM questions. Other things are very, very easy for us. And guys, one more thing. We have already done rapid course on board exam preparation, CBC class 10th. Try and see those videos. You'll get to know what all important questions do you need to cover in each topic. So it would be discussed in the first 5 minutes of all those videos. Just go through those videos to understand what all important topics you need to cover in each of the chapter of mathematics, if you have not done them yet, if you have not gone through those videos yet. Okay, so real number, HCF and LCM is something which is important, so primarily focus on them. Proof questions, proving root 2 to be irrational or 5 plus root 2 to be irrational, are also very important questions in real numbers. Specifically focus on those questions as well, right? Polynomials, let me tell you a few things about polynomials, guys. Few things about polynomials. Just try to understand these things. So one bit, if I talk about polynomial, guys. Now what I'm talking about is, I'll be talking about the silly errors which we tend to make. So you need to reduce those silly errors. What all areas you need to focus on, stay focused and try to understand. First thing is, people tend to forget whenever the question asks for a quadratic polynomial. So let's say two roots are given, two zeros are given. Two zeros are given, zeros of quadratic polynomial. Let's say 3 and 5. They are given, and the question is talking about what is that quadratic polynomial. So I hope all of us already know that the quadratic polynomial can be written as x squared minus sum of the zeros, right? This is a question which comes in your quadratic equation also. Sum of the roots or zeros times x plus product of zeros, right? Over here, one thing which you tend to forget is that we need to multiply it by k. If you're not doing this, probably you will not you are not writing the exact answer. So you must multiply it by k and say that k is any non-zero real number. It's important to mention non-zero and real number. I hope everyone is comfortable understanding this. So whenever the question talks about zeros of a quadratic polynomial 3 and 5, find out px, we will say px will basically be k times x square minus sum of roots plus the product of roots or the product of the zeros. I hope this is clear to all of us. Guys, I understand that most of you have one or two questions here and there, but I hope you also understand that I can't answer particular questions over here because we have limited 45 minutes to tell you these strategies which you can follow. So I'm telling you those points which people tend to forget or are confused in. So yes, k is something which is important to write. If the question says that what will be the polynomial corresponding to the quadratic polynomial that will have 0 as 3 and 5, right? 3 and 5. So in that case, you need to present k. If the question asks for one polynomial, if the question says zeros of one quadratic polynomial is 3 and 5, in that case, if the question talks about just one polynomial, in that case, you can take the value of k to be 1 and present that expression directly. This is one important thing in polynomial. Second important thing in polynomial is first important thing. The second important thing is also remember, if 1, 0, 3 is 3 plus root 2, can you tell me the other 0 of this quadratic polynomial? 1, 0 of a quadratic polynomial is, can you tell me the other 0 of the quadratic polynomial, given that all the coefficients are rational? The other one will be, it is something which you should remember. The other one will be 3 minus root 2, right? Directly 3 minus root 2, right? So at times you get questions wherein one of the zeros is given and you need to find out the other 0. It's a cubic polynomial, for instance. Even in a cubic polynomial, it will exist in a similar manner if the coefficients are rational. So we call them as conjugate pair. So what happens? Zeros appear in conjugate pairs whenever this is the case. So at times you can have a cubic equation, right? You need to factorize it, for instance. You need to factorize it, right? One of the zeros could be given to you as 1, 0, let's say, is 3 plus root 2. The other 0 will be 3 minus root 2 directly. You can multiply them and figure out the third 0 by directly dividing both of them, right? By dividing the factor over here, which you will form x minus 3 plus root 2 and x minus 3 minus root 2, multiply them, you will get a very concise bit, and then you can directly divide to get down to the answer. You can also apply the rule of alpha, beta, gamma, but that is something which is which usually is not asked in the questions. So this was one thing which is important for polynomials, right? Second, if I talk about linear equations, guys, linear equations, word problems are important. One very important thing, I'll show you one question. In fact, linear equations, first is important is word problems. Then conjugate pair is just change the sign in between and you're going to get the second. B1, B2. B1 upon B2 is equal to C1 upon C2. This is very important. It is a condition for what? Infinitely many solutions? Yes or no? This is very important. People tend to make tend to goof up over there. So this, as well as for no solution. This is for infinitely many solution. For no solution, it is B1, B2 is not equal to C1 upon C2. Right? What issues appear over here? Have a look, please. I'll be quick on this. I have a question with me. Just have a look. People tend to goof up over here. See, the question says, this is a question which I've taken from CBSE's website, CBSE sample paper. Value of P for which the following pair of linear equations have infinitely many solutions. So over here, what we know is, based on the condition, P minus 3 upon P must be equal to 3 upon P must also be equal to P upon 12. right? So over here, people tend to take just one of the combinations and solve and calculate the answer. So what we do, we know that this will be true for infinitely many solutions. This will be true for infinitely many solutions. So you will cross multiply it. You will say this is 3p. After this, what will happen? You will say, okay, see, over here it is p square minus 3p is equal to 3p. You will take this 3p on the other side. You will get 6p is equal to 0. Right? Now you will, achha, one more thing. People tend to make goof ups over here directly. People tend to cancel p and p. This is wrong. You can't directly do it. Right? If you are doing it, you must write. You must write. Because p is not equal to 0. You must write p is not equal to 0. Only then you can cancel it out from both the sides. But most likely people do not understand this or do not remember this. So ideally, it's always good to take everything on the left-hand side and then solve the equation. If I solve this equation, what will we get? Let's have a look. So it'll be p times p minus 6 is equal to 0. So p will be equal to 0, 6. 0, 6. Now you are having two values. Which value should we pick? 0 or 6? Thereafter, you need to check the second pair as well. This is something which is important. You need to check the second pair as well. You need to write 3 upon p is equal to p upon 12, and then you will solve it. 36 is equal to p squared, hence p will be plus 6 or minus 6. From here, both the things must be true. This as well as this must be true. So the common value for which the equation is true is p is equal to 6. So this is the answer to the question, right? Minus 6 as well as 0 is not the answer to the question, right? So be very, very careful in solving the questions which are based on infinitely many solutions as well as no solution, because in no solution, there is a not equal to sign. In a not equal to sign, the story is a little bit different, right? So try and understand these things in linear equations. Try and do remember these important bits over there. Okay, so this is something which is important in linear equations. Quadratic equation is a simple thing. Quadratic equation is a simple thing. I shouldn't be telling you something which is very important in quadratic equation. Same quadratic equation where k has two values. Yes, BTS Army. Okay. Next bit is AP. Okay. In AP, word problems are important. Practice few word problems either from NCERT or Exemplar. Go through Exemplar on AP word problems especially, right? Solve Exemplar, right? After this, assuming terms is something which also helps. Assuming terms, people tend to get confused over here. So let me just quickly tell you a few ways or few terms which you should assume. If you want to assume 3 terms of an arithmetic progression, you should assume it as what? A plus D, and A minus D. Right? If you want to assume 5 terms will just take it to A minus 2D, A minus D, A plus D, just increase it by one more term to the right as well as to the left, right? If you want to calculate 4 terms, in 4 terms, the common difference is taken to be 2. Common difference to be taken. This, Tushar, this helps us to get down to the answer quickly. That's it. So in that case, you would say A plus D and A minus D are the middle 2 terms. The next 2 terms will be A plus 3, 3D, and A minus 3D. And if there are 6 terms, we can take the further terms on the extremes of this expression. So guys, I hope these are few important things which everybody is trying to understand. And these are a few things wherein people tend to feel uncomfortable or maybe are not clear with the concept. So be very, very clear on how to approach all these type of questions, right? Okay. So this was all about arithmetic progression. In geometry triangle, guys. Most of us have concern in triangles. Just do questions from NCERT. Just focus on that. You don't have to solve R.D. Sharma over here or any other book. NCERT plus exemplar questions. Just go through these 2. Everything will be optional exercise is not that important, Krishna. However, you can find a very few questions from there. Linear combination is absolutely not important, Manish. So don't worry about it. Okay. So triangles is something wherein you just need to do NCERT plus example. The thing is done. Tn is equal to Sn minus 1. Correct. That's also true. So anyway, so triangles is something which I've covered. Anything else? Yes. I would also like to talk about trigo. Trigo. People tend to feel or tend to face problem in proof questions. Proof questions as in by using identities. Right. So few identities you already know. Sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. 1 plus tan square theta is equal to sec square theta. 1 plus cot square theta is equal to cosec square theta. These are few ideas which already all of us know. Now, few extra things which you must know that will surely and definitely help you improve questions. That is something which I'll tell you over here. So stay focused and try to understand that as well. For trigonometry, NCERT plus exampler, you need to cover both of them. Both of them. So just have a look over here, guys. Just over here, we all know 1 plus cos square theta can be written as sine square theta. This is also at times used, but everybody knows about it. So no point discussing this. Discussing the second bit is important. Everyone stay focused. Over here, what we can do is we can write it as sec square theta minus tan square theta is equal to 1. I hope everyone agrees with this. What I've done is I've taken tan square theta on the other side. Right? Then I can apply a square minus b square formula. What will I get? Sec square theta plus tan, sec theta plus tan theta times sec theta minus tan theta equal to 1, which also gives us a fundamental identity which you must remember. You should not use it directly, but you must remember this. Sec theta minus tan theta will always be 1 upon sec theta plus tan theta. Very important. It makes the question very easy for you at times. Very easy for you. Similarly, if you want to talk about this cot theta, so we can write it as cot square theta, cosec square theta minus cot square theta, which will be equal to 1, which is cosec theta. I'll tell you what important theorems do we have in triangles. Minus cot theta is equal to 1. And similarly, we can get cosec theta minus cot theta is equal to 1 upon cosec theta plus cot theta. Okay. So these are few things which you must remember over here. So for all those people who are asking what is important in terms of theorem and stuff, guys, I have already given you this. This is the ultimate resource. I've written whatever is important, must do things. Over here, it contains theorem as well. 1.4, the theorem number in real number is important, right? If I talk about, where are the other bits? Yes. So if I talk about triangles, these are the theorems which are important. BPT is very important. BPT is very, very, very important in triangles, right? The Pythagoras theorem and its converse is very important, right? In circle 10.1 theorem is very important. When we prove tangent to be perpendicular to the radius, that's also very, very important, right? And no other theorem in the entire book is that important as the theorems on circles, triangles, and real numbers are. You need to focus on these theorems only. I hope it makes sense to all of us. Yes or no? Optional is not that important, Tushar, I already told. Okay. Linear combination is not important, Manish. It doesn't appear in boards. So don't worry about it. If you are unable to understand it, forget about it. Right? Okay. So what else I wanted to, after revision, I'll talk about that. Okay, one more thing. So I've discussed about trigo. One more thing. In mensuration, nobody has any problem. People have a little bit of problem in in triangle optional is important. Sandeep. In mensuration, people have problem in frustum. So formulas are something that will come to rescue. Go through the formulas over there. Apart from that, the questions wherein people tend to face problem in mensuration is the questions based on flow of liquids. Yes or no? Flow of liquids. Most of us would have sort of problem in attempting questions in flow of liquids, right? So I'll give you a simple formula for that, guys. You should not use it directly though, but I'll tell you what formula you can use directly. Total volume, remember this, total volume, if at all you are unable to understand everything or unable to do anything in a question, in that case, you can directly apply the formula. Total volume will be area of cross section times the speed of the flow times the time. This will give you the total volume that will fall in the container, right? This you shouldn't use. What you can use is, you can use this formula, a modified version, which you can use is, you can use volume per unit time formula. So you can say volume per unit time will basically be equal to area of cross section of pipe. Usually the water comes from a pipe. No, I hope you are understanding questions which I'm talking about. So this is a pipe. It is filling a tank. It will have some diameter and it will have some area of cross section also. So area of cross section times the speed. I have one question based on it, so you will be able to understand this in a better way. Area per unit volume will be area of cross section times speed. Remember this. This is the only thing which I believe people have a problem in mensuration. People, you might have other problems in mensuration or other topics as well. I cannot discuss everything over here. However, by doing the questions which are suggested you from NCERT, you will get to know what all problems do you have and how to rectify them. So just to do the questions I've given you in the list, you can go through the video again to just understand what that list was and just take a picture of the same, right? So I hope most of you will get benefit from there, definitely. Okay. Now after revision, so you have revised your syllabus, you have done these questions, you have analyzed your weak areas, and you have worked upon them by solving few more questions. One more thing, after revision, what will you do? Very important. Solve top 100 questions file after you have finished the revision. From where you can get this top 100 questions file? Just see the link, the description below. You will get a link. From there, you can get these top 100 questions of mathematics. So you can download them, go through the list. Many a times you get a lot of questions from here. Last year this happens, this year it might again happen. So go through these top 100 questions. Solve at least 3 previous year papers or sample papers in each subject. Each subject. I would also, in fact, convert this 3 to 5. Solve at least 5 papers in each subject before attempting the paper, right? You can try the previous year papers. Previous year, that will help you, will be 2018 paper only, right? Beyond that, you can move to 2010 papers, or a better idea is to try sample papers rather than trying 2017, 16 or 15 papers, because over there, the content of the course was limited. It was not a full term examination, right? Very important things. Keep the following in mind while attempting these sample papers at your home. Do keep this in mind, that you need to manage the time properly. Also keep in mind that choose the questions that you are more confident writing at, right? So always choose the questions first which you are more confident writing at, right? Don't just indulge in a question and then go through solving the question and spending more time in a solution and not getting the appropriate answer of the question within the stipulated time, right? So keep the answers of the question in each section together. Very important. So what people have this in mind. Look, you have 4 sections: 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark. People have this thing in mind. Should I attempt the first section first, or the second section, or should I start from the last section? Now, guys, to be very, very honest, it depends on the student or the strength of the students. So it varies from person to person. In my opinion, you can either start from the first or the last. What you can do is, you can, while solving these 5 previous year papers, you can try either going ahead with the first section or with the last section, and then test which strategy works well for you, strategy works well for you, and then follow the same strategy in the examination hall as well. So I hope that works and everybody is clear with what you can sort of do over there. By the third point, what do I mean? By the third point, keep the answers of the question in each section together. That implies don't jumble up the sections. So if you are trying the fourth section first, don't try one question of section 4 and then another question of section 1. Keep all the questions in a section aligned, right? Don't jumble up the sections within themselves. Very important point. Don't ever get stuck in any question because that wastes time. That wastes time. Never leave a question unattempted because you have step marks as well. So try and do the questions. Even if you are unable to understand what will be the final solution, at least write something so that you can be given at least the step marks. Use pencil in drawing diagrams and don't waste time in decorating the answer sheet. People have this thing in mind that if I present the answer to the best level possible, I'll get great marks. Look, if a question is of 4 marks, you will get 4 marks only. You will not get 4.5 or 5 or 10 marks out of 4, right? So maximum you can get 4 out of 4. So don't waste your time in decorating the answer sheet. Hopefully, this is also clear to all of us. And keep 10 to 15 minutes for revision. Very important. And I must say, you should follow all these things in your actual exam as well as while you are practicing the previous year papers. Okay, it's there in the description, Yogesh. You can check it out. How to present a solution. I'll also talk about this for 5 minutes. So this is a 1-mark question. I've taken this question from your CBSE sample paper. If nth term of an AP is 2n plus 1, then find the sum of the first 3 terms. If this is the question, for instance. So guys, over here, trust me, you can't waste your time in solving a 1-mark question. Maximum time which you can invest in solving a 1-mark question could be 2 minutes. Don't invest more than 2 minutes. The question will not take that much. The question will actually not require that much time. So over here, guys, if this is the question, what will I say? I'll say, if n is equal to 1, this is how you should present. If n is equal to 1, that implies a1 is equal to 3. 2 into 1 plus, or you can, if you want, you can write it like this, and then you can write 3. A2 is 2 into 2 plus, n is equal to 2 implies a2 is equal to 2 into 2 plus 1, and n is equal to 3 implies a is equal to a3 is equal to 2 into 3 plus 1. That is equal to 7. Therefore, the sum is 3 plus 5 plus 7, which is 15. That's the answer to the question. That's it. You should not do anything else apart from that. If you want to try something else, if you want to apply the formula of summation, you can also do the question in this manner. You can say a1 directly. Look, if n is equal to 1, implies a1 is equal to 3. N is equal to 3 implies a3 is equal to 7. Therefore, sum, we know the formula of sum is n by 2 into first term plus last term. I hope all of us know about it. That's all what you can do. If you want to try it with a different method, that's it. If you want to try it with a different method, you can do it like this also. So it will be n by 2, which is 3 by 2. 3 terms are there. First term is 3. The last term is 7. So that gives us 5 times 3, which is 15. That's the answer to the question. That's all what you should spend in terms of time for a 1-mark question. Not extra, not below. Okay, below could be possible, but do not spend extra time. This is a 3-mark question. This is a 3-marker question from the CBSE sample paper. So water is flowing at a rate of this much through a pipe of diameter 14 centimeters into a rectangular tank, which is 50 meters long and 44 meters wide. Find the time in which the level of the water in the tank will rise by 21 centimeters, right? Rishikesh, you would invest a little extra time in solving it by a3 minus a2 and finding out the common difference. That will be a time waste. If you want, you can avoid that. Okay, let's focus on this question. Water is flowing at a rate of 15 kilometers per hour. So this is again a rate question. Sandeep, that's what I'm about to give you. So over here, what to write? First of all, over here in a 3-mark question, you can write given bit. Right? So what is given? The given is rate of flow. which is 15 kilometers per hour. Guys, it's very important for you to understand or to see whether the units are same or not. Over here, see, this is in kilometer, this is in centimeter, this is in meter, this is in meter, this is in centimeters. So a better idea is to convert everything into single unit initially itself. So 15 kilometers per hour can be written as 15,000 meter per hour. You can write it directly over here, right? In the given stuff itself. Then you can write area of cross section of pipe. Area of cross section. This is how you should present a 3-mark question. Area of cross section of pipe will be what? Diameter is 14 centimeters. So it will be, oh, sorry, diameter is given, no? Diameter of cross section. Wait a minute. We can write the radius because that's what will be required. Radius of the cross section of pipe will be 14 upon 2 centimeters, which is 7 centimeters. That is also equal to what? 7 upon 100 meters. We must convert everything into meters, right? Okay. And then the dimensions of, or the level of water, or you may say that the dimensions of rectangular tank, you don't have to mention that because that will be a time waste. So given is this. Then what we can do is we can write down the solution. We'll say solution is what? We'll calculate the volume per unit time. Over here, per unit time is hour. So volume per hour. Volume per hour implies what? Volume of liquid flowing in 1 hour. Volume per hour is equal to what? That is area of, you can directly write this. Area of cross section, you can directly write this formula times the speed, right? Rate of flow. You should write rate of flow because you've mentioned rate of flow times rate of flow, right? Okay. Area of cross section will be what? Pi times 7 by 100 whole squared. Rate of flow is 15,000, right? You will get the volume flowing out of that pipe, flowing out of that pipe in 1 hour. So what will this be? 22 by 7, and once you're going to calculate, you will get 231 meter cube. 231 meter cube. This is volume per hour. Volume per hour. Okay. Next is we'll calculate the volume of rectangular tank. Volume of rectangular tank is what? So the dimensions were 50, 44, and 21 centimeters. 50 times 44 times 21 centimeters will be converted to meters. So that turns out to be what? 52, 22. So this is 22 times 21 meter cube. Now volume per hour means what? In 1 hour, 231 meter cube water is flowing out of that pipe, right? So you will say 231 meter cube of water flows in 1 hour. How much amount of water do we want? 22 times 21. So we'll say 22 times 21 meter cube of water will flow in how many hours? Unitary method, direct unitary method. This much in 1 hour. So this much in 1 upon 231 times 20. This is what you should write. Not anything extra is required in this question for you to write, right? So over here, you will just quickly solve it. 2 hours will be the answer to the question. Is that okay? Is that okay? That's the answer to the question. So this is how you should present the answer, right? Do not spend more time in solving these questions. So if I talk about the time management, guys, we have a little time left with us. Let's definitely talk about the time management. You have 1 mark question. Mansha, I've given important questions, not just in AP, but in all the topics. Just go through the entire video once you will be able to understand. 1 mark question, 2 mark question, 3 mark question, and 4 mark question. Right? So if I'm correct, it is 6, 6, 10, and 8. Right? number of questions. So how much time you should spend in 1 mark question? For a 1 mark question, you should spend at the max 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes each. 2 minutes each. Right? So total 12 minutes precisely. For a 2 mark question, you can spend 4 minutes each. This is the maximum time you should give to any of the questions. Right? 4 minutes each. Each implies each question. Right? So over here, 3 marks, 6 minutes each, and 4 marks, 8 minutes each. So 1 mark implies 2 minutes. Right? So if I take the total, 6 2s are 12, 6 4s are 24, 10 6, 60 minutes, 8 8, 64 minutes. Solve it, 160 minutes gone. You have entire paper for 3 hours, which implies 180 minutes, right? Plus 15 minutes reading time. This is what you get, right? So in the reading time, try to analyze what questions will you be answering? What questions will you be answering? Right? For the next 3 hours, you can spend 160 minutes to solve all the questions, all the 30 questions you will be able to solve if you're going to follow this strategy. If you're spending any little extra time in any of the questions, leave that question. You can come back to that question afterwards. Leave the space below, right? So in my opinion, after this, I would say, so this is fine. After this, I would say, you can keep 10 minutes. That will again be used in any one of these areas. So plus minus 10, I'm keeping it in 160 minutes. Last 10 minutes for revision. Guys, very important, very, very, very important revision. Right? Last 10 minutes for revision. What you can do in revision, guys, very important. Try to understand whatever I'm trying to tell you. 4 mark question takes a lot of time to revise. So revise it when you are writing. So once you have written the 4 marker question, revise it then and there. Don't keep it for this last 10 minutes. Similarly, revise 3 marks question then and there. So revise directly, I must say. Then and there, right? You should revise 1 markers and 2 markers in the last 10 minutes to, check out the calculation mistakes if you had any. This is very, very important for you to do. Very important, right? So this is how you should manage the time. On the exam day, remember, you should arrive early. These are few tips on the exam day. Arrive early, don't get panic. It's board paper only. It's not that tough as it used to be in your school. Usually school exams are tougher than your board exams, right? So ideally you should arrive early so that anxiety doesn't take a toll on you. How to control anxiety? These are few tips which you can go through. Few tips which can help you to control the anxiety if you have any. During the exam, apply all the points that you have followed while practicing previous year papers or sample papers, the point which I mentioned for you to keep in your mind. Okay. That's all what I had for the day, guys. This is one link, cbseacademics.nic.in. This consists of the sample paper by CBSE. Right? So you can go through this link, or you can just search cbseacademics.nic.in and you can find out the paper over there. You will also get the marking scheme. You will get to know how to understand it or how to attempt it. Fine, guys, I'll take a call. I'll call it a day, in fact. And I hope you have got a lot of things from this session. And hopefully this will help you in near future to attain great marks in your score in your board exams. Very good luck to all of you. Very good luck to all of you for your board exams. And come back soon. You should also attend the other subjects and YouTube sessions to get to understand what all important things you need to cover. Bye, guys. Have fun. Take care.